Good day and welcome to finally another episode of Quilting with Don. I have been very busy this summer doing anything but quilting. Okay, that's not quite true because I have been sewing and I'm going to be quilting very soon, and I will explain that in a second. But I have definitely been doing a lot of biking and piping and diving and camping. And so if you do go browse through some of the some of the YouTube videos I've put out in the last couple, 3 months, you'll see the other things I've been doing. But I figured it's only fair I give those of you who like to watch the Quilting with Don stuff an update. So this is my summer update. I have actually been busy for the last 2 weeks doing quite a bit of sewing, well, a reasonable amount of sewing. For Carolyn, I have been a guinea pig. Now I can't show you what I'm working on, nudge nudge, wink wink. I'll try to wink. But because it's a mystery quilt that Carolyn is going to teach or to do at a workshop with her guild, with our guild. But I followed the instructions. I gave Carolyn some thoughts about where I would change it because it wasn't Dawn proof. Maybe nothing is Dawn proof. I'm using my name in the third person. But I was able to point out, you know what, let's call me a beginner. I don't understand what you mean by this. I don't understand what the assumption is here. And she goes, oh, quite often you're right. I never thought of it that way. Because this workshop is aimed really at all levels, including beginners. Now, yeah, some might say I'm not really a beginner anymore, and I would really welcome anyone telling me that, because I think I'm getting the hang of this quilty thing. But the journey is still there, still a lot of things to learn. And an update, again, there's a person on the island, her name is Ann Hall, and she sells these Quiltworks patterns and even gives them lessons. Quiltworks, if you haven't ever checked out that website, they've got amazing paper-pieced designs. And I am convinced I'm going to do one in the near future. It's going to be a multi-month project, if not a year-long project. But the results are stunning, and I've even picked the one I want to do. So more to follow on that in a future Quilting with Don. So the other thing I'm doing, and I'll just take a pause here, go change my shirt. If you remember from last year, some of you that might have seen me do this, I am also doing a lot of bike riding to be part of what is called the Great Cycle Challenge. This is a fundraising activity where participants like myself set a goal for how many kilometers or miles, if you prefer, we're going to ride, and a goal for fundraising. Well, it's going along great. And this is a fundraising effort ultimately for cancer research for kids, and also providing support to kids who are going through cancer treatment. So it's through the overall cancer charity in Canada, but it's still a great cause. So I have so far ridden over 200 kilometers, 120 miles, and I have raised already $1,800 Canadian dollars. So if the mood should strike you, I would very much welcome or appreciate any of you quilters donating to the cause. I'll provide a link below, and I'll provide a link in the words of this YouTube video as well, where you could donate to my fundraising page. But again, completely optional. It's one more thing I've been doing that's been occupying my time, and I've quite enjoyed it, and things are going well. So right now, I am now going to take a quilting project, I'm not going to say what it's from, and throw it on the rack because I've sewn the flimsy, and now it's time to put it on Carolyn's long arm machine and quilt it. I did forget to mention one thing. Another quilty thing I've been doing, and Carolyn has been doing in the last month, is volunteering on behalf of our quilting guild for a thing called Beach Fest. It's a sandcastle sculpting competition right here in Parksville, British Columbia. And it is world class. We have sculptors from all over the world, and oddly enough, including many of them from the Netherlands, where I just was 3 months ago. And here's a few pictures of these amazing sand sculptures. And so the theme for this year's sand sculptures is Circus by the Sea. And when I walked through it without knowing the theme, I saw ongoing things about the circus and lots of sea critters. And I mean, here's a clown fish. You get the idea. The talented sculptors came up with ways to somehow combine the circus and the ocean or the sea. So that, I think, for Parksville is very appropriate. It was a great idea, and there were some amazing, amazing sculptures. So check these out. And there was something there that pleased everyone. Last train to Parksville. Yeah. So, yeah, now we'll get back on to the quilting. I am pushing my understanding of Carolyn's long arm machine and the software to the limit right now. I just finished sewing an upper border, which you hopefully saw, and the math I had to do and understanding how the machine placed things was important. I ended up just being able to do precise placement of a repeating pattern, 18 repetitions, 3 inches to the width, 3 inches to the height. So in other words, I placed something 54 inches long, wide, rather that is, and 3 inches tall. Sorry about all the math, but it worked. It came out very well. Now I'm going to do the same thing down the sides. Now given the size of the throat space, I'm going to do 15 inches at a time down the side borders of that, once again, 3 inch by 3 inch rep pattern going down the sides. And I had to enforce a few things to make it do exactly what I want, but it worked. I should point out it took me, I'm going to say close to 2 hours to get everything set up here. This is not a trivial process. I know Carolyn does it quicker. I did it. Took my time, but I didn't have to undo anything because I did it right the first time. And when I say 2 hours, not just getting it on the rack, but basting it, lining it up, making sure everything is perfectly square. Carolyn tells me this is an important thing when she's doing other people's quilts. And quite often it's a lot of extra work if the sewing isn't great. If things aren't already square and the flimsy to begin with, she's doing a lot of jiggery pokery to get it to sew better. To get it so when you look at it, it actually looks, oh my God, that's great. Instead of, oh, those lines are wavy. Because you don't want nice, you want nice straight lines where they're supposed to be straight. You don't want wavies. So I really can give Carolyn a lot of kudos because she does magic on other people's quilts. I'll give myself a kudo. My sewing is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's great, but my lines are pretty good. My points are good. And it comes down to consistency. Engineering speaking, engineer, if you've got consistent seam allowances, things should work out. Notwithstanding any stretches from bias of the fabric and so on. And finished. I finished quilting this quilt. Now it just comes off the rack, trim it up, bind it, and it's done. So here's a close-up of the quilting I just did. On each of these diamond shapes has got a nice feathery starbursty pattern. And I quilted it so each of these blocks, the block goes from there to there, down to there, to there. So you see a block. I did a total of 12 blocks for this quilt. Not that I could show you the quilt. All right, so I did it. I finished my quilting project that I can't show you. And it was great. Just to give you a tease for one of my future projects, here's a couple of those Quiltworks quilts I found online that interest me. Now, I am going to talk to some of the Carolyn's and my quilty friends who have done these kinds of things, and they'll give me a feeling whether I'm biting off more than I could chew or not. And I will take with their perspective with good consideration, with trust, because they've seen what I can do and they also know what's involved. But anyway, so here's one. That's pretty cool, eh? It's more of a compass-based theme. And here's the other. It's more of a boat captain and boat wheel theme. So I like them both. They've got sharp edges, they're paper pasting, they got round curves. Could be a lot of fun. This is something that Carolyn made me a while ago. I thought I'd point that out since I'm doing an update. It's where I keep all my handy quilty tools. And it opens up. I think she took a course on this, but she's made several of these. And it opens up and it's got all sorts of interesting things inside. or I mean, I've stuffed it with interesting things inside, my quilty tools, pockets and things. Anyway, as per usual, I toast my mystery quilt with good Belgian beer. This one's a Saint Feuillien, one of my favorites. Just happen to have this in the fridge. So, hope you enjoyed this quick update. Lots more to do this year for the quilty thing. The quilt show is in 2 years. So I've got to start working on stuff I'm going to show in that show 2 years from now. I've got ideas. And it might be one of those ones I just showed you, for example. But it's going to be an ocean-based theme on this quilt show in 2 years, oddly enough. So I've already got something I can show, and it's that sea life quilt you may remember I did a while back, the art quilt with the octopus and the fishes and all that good stuff. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for the next Quilting with Dawn. Cheers.